ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Virginia Theater. And tonight, our final performance of Arsenic and Own Lakes. Before we get started, I do ask that you refrain from using flash photography. Keep your phones silent and silence any children near you, even if they're not yours. Maybe especially if they're not yours. Now, just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes, indeed. Sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In only 2 short years, you've taken upon yourself the spirit of Brooklyn.
Well, that's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You see, living next to the church all of our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we say, is always friendliness. And your sermons are not so much sermons as friendly talks.
I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or have I met him yet?
No, not yet, sir. Are the biscuits good?
Haha, just bully.
Would you like another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
Oh, no, thank you, ma'am. I'm afraid I'll have no appetite for dinner now. I always have too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam.
Oh, but you haven't tried the quince. We always put a little bit of apple in it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
But we'll send you over a jar.
No, keep it here so I can be sure to have your biscuits with it.
Oh, I do hope they won't make us use that imitation flour again. I mean, with this war trouble, it may not be very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler is not a Christian.
Yes, if only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, sir?
Yes, Teddy.
Oh, point your gun the other way.
My gun?
Teddy?
To the west. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan.
Why, yes. Yes, of course.
Teddy?
No, Aunt Abby. Not so much talk about Europe and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war. Would you like another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you.
Dr. Harper?
No, thank you, Miss Abby. But one must admit that the war seems far removed from these surroundings.
It is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day. They're all here in this home. Virtues that went out with good manners and low taxes.
This house is just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except the electricity, and we rarely use it. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
Yes, it seems your nephew lives only by electric light.
He has to work so late, the poor boy. Oh, I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater tonight. Oh, Teddy, your brother Mortimer will be here a little later.
Delighted.
We're so glad that it's Elaine Mortimer takes to the theater.
Yes, well, it is a new experience to wait up until 3 in the morning for my daughter to be brought home.
Well, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well.
I mean, Sister Martha and I would feel so guilty since it was here in our home that your daughter met Mortimer.
Well, let me say, first of all, that I believe Mortimer himself to be a very good gentleman. But I have watched the growing intimacy between him and my daughter with some trepidation.
You mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
His stomach.
His dyspepsia. He's bothered with it so, the poor boy.
No, I'll be frank, Miss Abby. I'm talking of your nephew's unfortunate connection with the theater.
The theater? Oh, no, Dr. Harper. Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
Yes, but a dramatic critic is constantly exposed to the theater, and I do not doubt but what some of them do develop an interest in it.
Well, not Mortimer. You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Yes, he writes terrible things about the theater. But you can't blame him, the poor boy. He used to be so happy writing about real estate, which is something he really knew about, and then they just made him take this terrible night position.
My.
But, as he says, the theater can't last much longer. And in the meantime, it's a living. Yes, I think if we give the theater a year or two, perhaps it might... Oh, I wonder who that can be. Oh, no, thank you, Teddy. I'll get it. Oh, hello, Officer Brophy. How do you do, Mr. Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
What news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid, just splendid. At ease.
You know Dr. Harper?
Sure. Hello, Dr. Harper.
Miss Abby, we've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes.
It's a wonderful thing you officers do, fixing up toys to give children a merrier Christmas.
Gives us something to do when we have to sit around the station. You get tired playing cards, and then you start cleaning your gun. And the next thing you know, you've shot yourself in the foot.
Oh, Teddy dear, will you go upstairs and get the big box from your Aunt Martha's room? Oh, how is Mr. Brophy? Mr. Brophy's been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Charge!
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's better now, a little weak still.
Well, I'll go get some beef broth for you to take to him.
Oh, Miss Abby, you don't have to do that. You've already done so much for him.
Oh, it's no trouble. Martha went out to give some to poor Mr. Benitsky. It won't be a minute. Just sit down and make yourself at home.
She really shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing something nice. And for nothing, they don't even care how you vote.
Yes. When I got my call to Brooklyn, my wife was very ill. And when she died, and for months after, if I've known true charity and kindness, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that anymore.
But I have to call a cabinet meeting in order to get the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with us. Seems they're a little afraid of him anyway.
Well, he's perfectly harmless.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot worse people he could think he was.
It's a shame a nice family like that had to be such a cuckoo.
Well, his father, the old girl's brother, was some sort of a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to me he was a little crazy too.
Yeah, crazy like a fox. He made $1 million.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, patent medicine. He was some sort of quack. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. He used the house here as a clinic. Tried him out on people.
Yeah, I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally too.
Yeah, the department never bothered him much because he was helpful on the autopsy cases, especially the poison ones.
Well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life. Thank heavens for that.
Yeah, not that they used any of it on themselves, though.
Yes, I am well acquainted with their charities.
You don't know a tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were trying to trace an old man that we never did find. Say, do you know there's a renting agency that's got this house down on its list for furnished rooms? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet that anyone who comes here looking for a room goes away with a good meal, probably a few dollars in their kit.
It's just their way of digging up people to do some good for. Hello, Miss
Well,
Brewster.
isn't this nice? How do you do, Officer Brophy, Officer Klein, Dr. Harper?
How are you, Miss Brewster? We came for the Christmas toys.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. They're all packed.
He's upstairs now getting them. It seems that the cabinet has to okay it.
Oh, yes, of course. I do hope Mr. Brophy is doing better.
He's better. Your sister's in the kitchen getting him some soup now.
Oh, yes, we made it just this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, Martha, you're back. How is Mr. Benitsky?
Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. They're going to amputate in the morning.
Can we be present?
No. The doctor was there. He says it's against the rules of the hospital.
Well, you couldn't be of any help, and you really must spare yourself something.
Here's the broth, Officer Brophy. Make sure it's good and hot.
This is fine. It'll make a lot of kids happy. That O'Malley boy is nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles. I've retired him. What's this? The Oregon?
Teddy, dear, put it back.
But the Oregon goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No! I've given my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
What's the difference what kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen? Well, ma'am, we'll be running along, and thank you very much.
Oh, not at all. Bye.
Charge!
to convince him that he's not Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, no. Well, there was this one time a long time ago. Remember, Martha? We thought that if he could be George Washington, it might be a change for him.
But he stayed under his bed for days and just wouldn't be anybody.
But we'd so much rather he be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, well, as long as you're all happy, you'll see that he signs these.
What are they?
Well, Dr. Harper's made all arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on.
But why should Teddy sign any papers now?
Well, if the good Lord see fit to take you from us, we may be unable to persuade Teddy to sign them himself, which would lead to legal complications. Mr. Witherspoon knows they are to be filed away until their time of use.
Mr. Witherspoon, who's he?
He is the superintendent of Happy.
Dr. Harper has made arrangements for him to come tomorrow or the next day to meet Teddy.
Yes, well, I best be running along, otherwise Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Well, give our love to Elaine. Oh, and Dr. Harper, please don't think too harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Yes, and dinner's going to be late too.
So, why?
Oh, Teddy, good news for you. You're off to Panama to dig another lock for the canal.
Ha ha, bully, just bully. I shall prepare at once for the journey. Charge!
Abby, while I was away,
Well, I didn't know when you were coming, and Dr. Harper was coming. I just couldn't wait for you.
but all by yourself?
Oh, I managed fine.
Well, I'll just run right along downstairs and see.
Martha, there was a time that I was all alone. Well, Martha, just look in the window, see? Hi, Elaine!
Come in, dear. Hello, Miss Abby. Hello, Miss Martha. I thought Father was here. He just this minute left. Didn't you meet him? No, I took the shortcut to the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet?
No, dear.
Oh, he asked me to wait for him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Oh, yes, come
Not
sit
at all.
down.
But we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you. Doing what? Well, he was brought up to know better. When a gentleman is taking a young lady out, he should call for her at her house.
Oh, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't abhor her.
He's done this too often. We'll have to speak with him.
Oh, please don't. I'm a young man whose idea of a nightlife is to take me to a prayer meeting. Well, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
Well, it's a comfort for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least we know he's sitting next to a minister's daughter.
Oh, my, Elaine, what you must think of us not having tea cleared away at this time.
But just leave everything in the kitchen, dear, and I'll help you as soon as Mortimer gets here. Oh, he ought to be there any minute.
Yes, Father must have been surprised not to find me at home. I better run along home.
It's a shame you missed him, dear.
If Mortimer comes, tell him I'll be right back. Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Elaine.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Martha.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Are you going somewhere?
I was just telling Father Knox went out for me tonight.
Oh, I didn't know that was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Tabby.
How are you, dear?
Oh, I'm all right. You look well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
It was yesterday, wasn't it? We've been seeing an awful lot of you recently. Well, come sit down, sit down.
Oh, Abby, haven't we something to do in the kitchen?
Huh?
You know the tea things?
Oh, yes, of course, the tea thing. Well, you two just make yourselves at home. Make yourselves at home.
Well, can you take a hint?
No, that was pretty obvious. The lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you would say.
Where would you like to go for dinner?
I don't care, I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait till after the show?
That'll make it pretty late, won't it?
Oh, not with the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
Now you ought to be fair with these plays.
Are these plays fair to me?
Well, I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
That musical isn't opening tonight.
No.
Darling, you must learn the rules. With a musical, there's always 4 changes of title, 3 postponements, They liked it in New Haven, but it still needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a musical.
Ah, you have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletariat on the subway and I listen to the lecture on the drama. After a musical, you take me home in a taxi. You make a few passes.
Now, wait a minute, darling. That's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Well, I'll admit, after the Berlin play, you told me I had an authentic beauty. That's a fine thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs, and I do too.
For a minister's daughter, you sure know a lot about the world. Where'd you learn it?
The choir loft.
I'll explain that to you sometime. The close connection between eroticism and religion.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better run home and tell Mama to put up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
Or rationalize what?
My falling in love with a girl who lives in Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
The only way I can regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No, I've come to the conclusion that you're holding out for the legalities.
Well, I could be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
But I can't wait that long. Where can we be married in a hurry? Say, tonight.
I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
I'm sure your father could make the marriage service sound pedestrian.
Are you by chance trying to review it?
Forgive me, darling. Occupational disease. I may give that play tonight a good notice.
Now don't pretend you love me that much.
Don't forget to tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I better tell him to wait up.
Then I'll telephone Winchell to publish the banns.
Nevertheless,
Oh, all right. Everything formal and legal, but no later than next month.
oh darling, I'll talk to Father and we'll set a date.
No, we'll have to wait and see what's in rehearsals. There may be a lot of other first nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer!
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, thank you, just bully! What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Panama's the cellar. He digs locks down there for the canal.
You're awfully sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy was always my favorite brother.
Whoa, wait, favorite brother? There's more of you?
Oh yes, there's another brother, Jonathan.
Jonathan. I've never heard of Jonathan. Your aunt never speak of him.
No, we don't like to talk about Jonathan. You see, he left Brooklyn very early by request. He was the kind of boy who liked to cut worms in two with his teeth.
Oh. What became of him?
Oh, I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school first, and his practice got him in trouble.
Oh, aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
Oh, no, we're skipping dinner. We don't have to start for another half an hour.
Well, then I'll leave you alone together again.
Oh, don't bother. I need to run along home and tell Father goodnight. He likes to pray over me a little before I go out with Mortimer.
If that prayer isn't too long, I'd have time to lead you beside distilled waters.
Why, Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. We knew Elaine would be a good influence for you.
Yes, by the way, I'm going to marry her.
Oh, what? Oh, dear. Oh, Martha. Martha, come in here. I have the most wonderful news. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married. Married? Oh, Mortimer. We always hoped it would happen like this. Why, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Yes, happy. Just look at her leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What, dear?
See that statue there? That's a Harunanita Karnina.
Oh, no, dear. That's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
No, on Miss Stout left ear. That's a red-crested swallow. I've only seen one of those in my life.
Well, I don't understand how you can be thinking of a bird, what with Elaine and the engagement and everything.
Well, it's a vanishing species. Thoreau was very fond of it. Oh, by the way, I left a large envelope here the other day. It was one of the chapters of my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Oh, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere.
When are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Oh, yes, Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was, dear?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Oh, well, I think when Elaine comes back, we ought to have a little play. I do hope you'll be able to enjoy it. It might be a romance. What's the name of it?
Murder Will Out.
Oh, dear.
When the curtain goes up, the first thing you'll see is a dead body. Hey, Tabby?
Yes, dear?
You're going to make arrangements for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, Happydale?
Oh, yes, dear. Dr. Harper came by and dropped off the papers for Teddy to sign. They're right here.
He's got to sign them right away.
Oh, yes. That's what Dr. Harper thinks. That way there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
He's got to sign them now, tonight. He's in the cellar. Get him up here right away.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, when Teddy's down digging locks, he can't get his mind on anything else.
He has to go to Happydale now, tonight.
Oh, no, dear. That's not until after we're...
Right away, I tell you, right away.
Why, Mortimer, how can you say that? Why, as long as we live, we will not be separated from Teddy.
Look, I'm frightfully sorry, but I have some shocking news for you. Now, we've all got to try and keep our heads. We've sort of humored Teddy, thinking that he was harmless.
Why, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale, where he must be confined.
Mortimer, how can you turn on Teddy, your own brother?
Why, you've got to know sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
But there's a body in the window seat.
Oh, yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Oh, yes, but it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Now, Mortimer, just forget. Forget you ever saw the gentleman.
Forget?
We never dreamed you'd peep.
But who is he?
His name is Hoskins. Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? Well, how did he get here? What happened to him?
He died.
Yes, Martha, but men don't just crawl into window seats and die.
Oh, no, dear. He died first.
But how?
Oh, Mortimer, you're so inquisitive. The gentleman died because he drank a glass of wine with poison in it.
But how did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When we put it in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put the poison in the wine?
Yes. And I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you knew what you'd done? And you didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body?
Well, not at tea time. That wouldn't be very nice. Now, Mortimer, just forget about it. I do think that you're at Martha and I have the right to our own secrets.
Don't you tell Elaine. Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's doing much better. But she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
We must do that tomorrow or next day.
Yes. But this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not dragging me to another one of those scary pictures.
Hello? City desk. Let me talk to Al. Hey, Al, do you know who this is? Yeah, that's right. Say, Al, when I left the office, I told you where I was going. What did I say? Huh. Well, it'll take me about a half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? Well, I must be there then. And Tabby, and Martha, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
Well, there's a body in there!
Oh, yes, dear, Mr. Hoskins.
Well, good heavens, I can't turn you over to the police, but I've got to do something. What? Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean like more than one others?
Oh, yes, dear. Let me see. This makes 11.
Oh, no, dear. This makes 12.
Oh, I think you're wrong. I'm quite sure it's 11.
No, because I remember distinctly when Mr. Hoskins came in, that it occurred to me that he would just make an even dozen.
Oh, yes. You really can't count the first one.
Oh, well, I was counting the first one, so that makes it 12.
Hello? Oh, hey, Al. Man, it's good to hear your voice.
Well, but anyway, they're all down in the cellar.
No, Al, no, I'm sober as a lark. I just called you because I was feeling a little Piranello. Piran, you wouldn't know. Look, Al, I'm glad you called. You gotta get George to review that play tonight. I can't do it. No, Al, you're wrong. Look, I'll tell you all about it tomorrow. Just get to... Look, you... No. You gotta get... Look, it's my apartment. I'm running it. You get a hold of George. Now, where were we? 12?
Oh, yes. Abby thinks we ought to count the first one, and that makes 12.
All right. Who was the first one?
Oh, well, that was Mr. Midgley. He was a Baptist.
Of course, I still think we can't claim full credit for him because he just died.
Well, Martha means without any help from us. You see, Mr. Midgley was looking for a room.
It was right after you left for New York, dear.
Yes, and we thought it was just a waste to have that beautiful room up there and so many people in need of it.
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were dead, and it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
We felt so sorry for him.
And then, when his heart attack came, and he sat dead right there in that chair, remember, Martha? We decided right then and there that if we could help other lonely old men come to the same peace, we would.
And he just dropped dead in that chair right there? How awful for you!
Oh, no, dear. Why, it was rather like old times. Your grandfather always used to have a cadaver or two around the house. Well, you see, Teddy had been digging the Panama Canal in the cellar, and when he saw Mr. Midgley, he thought he was a yellow fever victim.
And that meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we all carried Mr. Midgley down and buried him in the lock. And that's why we told you not to worry, dear, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And that's how all this started. That man walking in here and dropping dead?
Well, of course, we couldn't depend on that happening again, so...
Oh, you remember all those old jars of poison that have been in your grandfather's laboratory all these years?
And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her piccalilli.
Well, dear, for a gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, a half a teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
Oh, yes. In fact, one of our gentlemen found time to say how delicious.
Well, I really must see to the kitchen and get dinner started.
Oh, I wish you could stay for dinner, dear.
I'm trying a new recipe.
Well, I couldn't eat a thing.
Oh, I feel so relieved. Oh, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? How happy you must be. I'll leave you alone to your thoughts, dear.
Oh, it's you.
Now, don't be cross, darling. Father Bertello is excited, so I told him about it. And, well, made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling. Father won't be waiting up for me tonight.
Look, Elaine, you run along home and I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know I always call you in a day or two.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Something's come up, Elaine.
What, Mortimer? Oh, Mortimer, you've lost your job?
No, I haven't lost my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight. You just run along home.
But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But we're going to be married.
Married?
Have you forgotten that about 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Well, as far as I know, that's still on. You just run along home now.
No! Not until I supply an explanation. You cannot push me one minute and throw me out of the house next.
I'm not throwing you out. Now would you get out of here?
No! Not until I've had an explanation.
Hello? Look, ow! Look, I know, it's important, right? Can it wait? Hold on. Look, Elaine, you're a sweet girl, and I love you very much. But I have something on my mind, and I want you to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
Look, Elaine, when we're married and I have problems to face, I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I'll find you anyway.
Elaine! Hello? 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 Hello?
Oh dear,
Hello?
that's the doorbell, not the telephone. Oh, how do you do? Come in.
I understand you have a room to rent.
Oh yes, do step in.
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I'm a Miss Brewster, and this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name's Gibbs.
Oh, come sit down. I'm sorry, I'm afraid we were setting the table for dinner.
Hello? City desk. Let me talk to Al. City desk! Al! What? Sorry, wrong number.
May I see the room?
Why don't you sit down a minute and let's get acquainted?
Well, that won't do much good if I don't like the room.
Is Brooklyn your home?
Don't have a home. Live in a hotel. Don't like it.
Hello, city desk.
Are your family Brooklyn people?
Don't have any family.
Oh, all alone in the world?
Yep.
Well, Martha. Well, you've come to just the right house.
Al, it's more. We gotta cut off. Look, I can't cover that play tonight. That's all there is to it.
Do you go to church? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm Presbyterian. Used to be.
What's George doing in Bermuda? Well, of course I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it? Well, who else is around the office?
Is there always this much noise?
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
Oh, what about the office boy? That new one, the bright one, the one we don't like? Well, there's got to be somebody around there. You look around and I'll hold on.
I'd really like to see the room.
Oh, well, it's upstairs, but won't you try a glass of our wine before we go up?
Never touch it.
Well, we make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine? I haven't tasted elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Hey, Al, what about the printers? Yeah, the guy that sets my type. He ought to know what I'd write about. His name's Joe. He's the third machine from the left. Yeah. Oh, but Al, he might turn into another Burns Mantle.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
No, I'm not drinking. But I'm gonna start.
Do you serve meals?
We might, but first see whether you like our wine.
Mortimer? Mortimer?
Mortimer, not that.
What, are you crazy? Do you want to be killed? how to explain this to you, but it's not only against the law, it's wrong. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
What I mean is, this has developed into a very bad habit.
Mortimer, we don't stop you from doing things that you like to do. I don't see why you should interfere with us.
Oh. All right, look, I'll see the first act, and I'll pan the hell out of it. But look, I'll do me a favor, would you? Get a hold of our lawyer. Yeah, the head of our legal department, O'Brien. Yeah, look, it's important. Don't let me down, all right? Yeah, have him meet me at the theater. Don't let me down, I'm starting now. Look, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out of it. But before I go, will you promise me something?
We'd have to know what it was first.
Well, you know that I love you very much. And I know that you love me. And I'd do anything in the world for you. And I want you to do this one little thing for me.
Well, what do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. I mean, don't do anything. Don't let anyone in this house. And leave Mr. Hoskins right where he is.
Why?
Because I want time to think. And I've got quite a little to think about. And I don't want anything to happen to you.
Well, what on earth could happen to us?
Anyways, you'll do this one little thing for me, won't you?
Well, we were planning on holding services just before dinner.
Services?
Well, certainly. But you don't think we would bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist.
Well, can't that wait until I come back?
Oh, then you can join us!
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'll enjoy the services, Mortimer, especially the hymns. Oh, Martha, remember how beautifully Mortimer used to sing in the choir before his voice changed?
Anyways, you won't let anyone in here while I'm away. It's a promise.
Oh, Martha, we can do this now that Mortimer's cooperating with us. Well, all right, Mortimer.
Okay. Do you have any paper?
Oh, yes. I have some stationery. Will this do?
Oh, yes, that'll be just fine. I can save time if I write my review on the way.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today.
No, but I think I know why.
Oh?
Well, he's just been engaged to be married. I suppose it makes a man nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for their engagement, especially for Elaine. That honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation, too. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
I never could understand why he wanted to go to those places.
Oh, well, I think, to Mortimer, the theater has always been pretty small potatoes. He needs something big to criticize, like the human race.
Oh, Abby, if Mortimer's joining us for services, we'll need another hymn.
Oh, yeah.
There's one in my room.
Oh, Martha, I know it's my turn to read the services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came, I'd like you to do it.
Oh, that's very kind of you, dear. But are you sure you want me to?
Oh, it's only fair.
Well, I'll wear my mother's old brooch and my black bonnet.
Oh, I'll go later.
We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in.
Well, who do you suppose it is?
One minute, I'll look. It's two men, and I've never seen them before.
Are you sure?
Mhm. There's a car at the curb. They must have come in now.
Oh, let me look.
Do you recognize them?
No, they're strangers to me.
We'll just have to pretend we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. Welcome to my childhood home. A place I couldn't wait to escape from as a boy that now I can't wait to escape back into.
Yeah, Johnny, it's a fine hideout.
Seems though that the old family is still living here. There is something so very Brewster about the place. I do hope there's a fattened calf awaiting the arrival of the prodigal.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm hungry, you know? John, look, drinks, huh?
Excellent, Doctor. This is a very, very good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Abby, Martha, it's me, Jonathan.
You get out of here!
Come now. You remember your nephew? Jonathan.
Oh, you're nothing like Jonathan, so don't pretend you are. You just get out of here.
But it is me. This is my good friend, Dr. Einstein.
Oh, and he's not Dr. Einstein.
No. Not Albert Einstein. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing the ring that grandmother brought you back from England. And Martha, still with the high collars, trying so desperately to cover up those nasty scars that grandfather's elixirs gave you.
His voice is like Jonathan's.
Have you been in an accident?
Oh. This. Yes, that's Dr. Einstein's work. You see, he's a plastic surgeon. He makes faces.
I've seen that face before. Abby, remember when we took the Schultz boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was that face!
Don't worry, ladies. Over the last 5 years, I give Johnny 3 new faces. I give him another one right away. This last face, well, I saw that picture too, just before I operate. I was intoxicated.
Proud of what you've done? Even my family thinks I look like Boris.
Johnny, you're home in this lovely house, How often you tell me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his aunts that he loves so much? Johnny, say no humor. You know Jonathan, tell him so.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long time. What have you been doing all these years?
Yes, Jonathan, where have you been?
Traveling here and there. London, South Africa, Australia. For the last 5 years in Chicago, where Dr. Einstein and I were in business together.
Oh, we went to Chicago for the World's Fair.
Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
But how wonderful it is to be back here in Brooklyn, above all the places, to see your smiling faces. You haven't aged a day. And what of Teddy? Did he make it into politics? And my brother, Doctor, he had the mind to become President of the United States.
Oh, Teddy's fine, just fine. And Mortimer's well, too.
Yes. I know all about Mortimer. I've seen his picture above that dreadful column of his in the newspaper. No doubt he's quite well accomplished that nasty nature of his.
Well, we're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Jonathan, it was very nice.
Oh, Aunties, it is so good to be home.
Well, Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
You'll excuse us for just a minute. Unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
Johnny, where do we go from here, huh? We gotta sing fast, yeah? The police have got pictures of that face. I gotta operate by the way, huh? We gotta find a place for that, and we gotta find a place for Mr. Spinalzo too.
Don't waste any thought on that rat.
But Johnny, we got a hot Steve on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinalzo.
You can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Johnny. He's a nice fellow, yeah?
He said I look like Boris Karloff, and that's your work, Doctor. You did this to me.
Yeah. We find a place somewhere. I fix you up quick, yeah?
Yeah, you will. Tonight.
Johnny, not tonight. I'm hungry. I've got to eat first. And I'm weak, yeah?
Jonathan, we're very glad that you remembered us and stopped by to say hello. But you were never happy in this house, and we were never happy with you in it. So we've just come to say goodbye.
Aunties, I can't say that your attitude towards me comes as much of a surprise. But I can tell you that I spent hours grieving over how I treated you as a boy.
Oh, you were a trial on us, Jonathan.
Well, I have my own trials now. You see, Dr. Einstein, I promised him that no matter how rushed we were, if we made it to Brooklyn, we would make an appointed stop for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked meals.
Oh? Oh, well, I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough.
Abby, it's a rather large pot roast.
Dear me, Here, pot roast.
Well, I think the least we can do is invite them to.
Oh, come, aunties, you don't have to twist our arms. We would love to stay for dinner.
But we better hurry things along.
Yes.
Oh, Jonathan, if you'd like to freshen up, you can use the washroom in Grandfather's old laboratory.
Oh, is that still there?
And yes, it's just as he left it. So I'll go help Martha hurry things along since we're all in a hurry.
Well, we get a meal anyway, Johnny.
Grandfather's old laboratory. Huh. A perfect operating room, Doctor.
But too bad we can't use it, huh?
You finish your work on me, and then we start our work on Brooklyn. We'll make a fortune. And Brooklyn is crying and screaming for your talents.
Oh, why work yourself up, Johnny? Besides, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late, huh?
You don't know Brooklyn like I do, Doctor. Everyone in this town needs a new face.
Johnny, so many of the old faces are locked up.
No, just a small percentage. And the ones who haven't been locked up will pay handsomely never to be locked up.
Take it easy, Johnny. Your aunts, they don't want us here.
We've been invited to dinner, haven't we?
Yeah, but after dinner?
I'll take care of that. Don't you worry about it. Doctor, this place will become our headquarters for years to come.
Oh, yeah. That would be beautiful, huh, Johnny? Is this nice, quiet house? Those aunts of yours? Oh, such sweet ladies. I love them already. Oh, I get the bags, huh?
Don't be hasty, Doctor. We have to wait to be invited.
But you just said...
We will be invited.
What if they say no, huh?
Doctor, come now. Really. Two helpless little old ladies.
Johnny, if that comes true, a beautiful dream. Only I hope you're not dreaming.
What?
This place is peaceful, huh?
Yes, Doctor, that's what's so wonderful about this place. It is serenely peaceful. Charge! Yes, aunties, the last 5 years of my life in Chicago were the busiest but happiest of my life.
Is that from Chicago? We go to South Bend, Indiana.
Doctor, I don't think the ladies would appreciate our exploits in South Bend.
Well, Jonathan, you must have had a very interesting
And then I
life,
met
but-
Dr. Einstein in London. Changed my life forever. You remember, I was in the diamond business in South Africa. Well, I went to Amsterdam to be in the diamond market and discovered very quickly I needed to be back in South Africa. Well, Dr. Einstein is the man who made that possible.
Yeah, a good job, huh, Johnny? After we take off the bandages, his face looks so different. The nurse had to introduce me.
Yes, I keep a picture of it. I love that face.
Oh, well, this looks more of how you used to look, but still I wouldn't recognize you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Yeah, it's safe now, Johnny.
Well, I'm sure, Jonathan, you have some places to go.
After all,
aunties.
it's very late.
After that wonderful meal, I don't think I can move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
I found it! I found it!
What did you find, Penny?
My autobiography, the story of my life. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. Here we are, both of us. President Roosevelt and General Goethals at Calibre Cut. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how I've changed.
Well, that picture hasn't been taken yet. Why, we haven't even begun work on Calibre Cut. We're still digging locks. And now, we shall both go to Panama and inspect the new lock.
Oh, Teddy, not to Panama.
long way off. We go some other time, yeah?
Nonsense! It's just down the cellar.
The cellar?
If we let him dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
General Gothels, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand that you accompany me on the inspection of the new lock.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
Beg your pardon? Who are you?
William McKinley, now go to bed.
No, you're not McKinley. He's dead. But your face looks familiar. Now let me see. You're not anyone I know now. Perhaps later.
Yes, on my hunting trip to Africa. You look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
No, Teddy dear, that's your brother Jonathan.
He's had his face changed, dear.
So that's it. A nature faker.
Teddy, perhaps you should go to bed. Jonathan and his friend are just leaving for their hotel.
General Gothels, inspect now, please.
Okay, Mr. President. We go to Panama.
Ah, splendid, just splendid. Follow me. It's down south, you know.
Bon voyage!
Aunties, I'm afraid I have to correct one of your misapprehensions. You see, I have no hotel to go to.
Oh, well, there's a very nice hotel about 3 blocks.
But this is my home.
Oh, but Jonathan, you can't stay here. We need our rooms.
Need them.
Yes, for our lodgers.
You have lodgers in here.
Well, not just now, but we plan to have some.
Well, that means my room is available then, doesn't it?
Oh, but there's no place for Dr. Einstein.
Now, come along. The doctor and I'll be happy to share my old room.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay.
I need a place to sleep.
Maybe it would be best.
Maybe overnight.
Seven. Go prepare my room for me.
It only needs airing out.
Yes, we keep it ready to show our lodgers. I think you and Dr. Einstein will find it very comfortable.
Oh, you'll find a great guest in Dr. Einstein. He's very skilled, and you'll get to see those skills up close. I'll be looking like a very different Jonathan in the next
He
few
can't
weeks.
operate on you.
We're taking grandfather's laboratory and turning it into an operating room.
No, Jonathan, we will not allow you to turn this house into a hospital.
No, not a hospital, Andes. Consider it a beauty parlor.
Johnny, that is
Good news, Dr. Einstein, that my aunts have asked us to stay.
Oh, you fixed it?
Well, just for overnight.
Prepare the room, please.
Well, just for tonight.
Johnny, when I go down to the cellar, what do you think I find, huh?
What?
It's the Panama Canal. Yeah, it just fits Mr. Spanalzo. A whole teddy dog, 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Really?
Yeah.
Down there.
Tell you things they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinozzo along. That's hospitality, yeah?
What a good joke to play on my aunts. Having them live in a house with a body buried in the cellar.
Chad, how do we get him in, huh?
Right. Can't exactly walk him through the front door now, can we? Ah, we'll drive the car round back. Then when the aunts go to bed, we'll pull Mr. Spinalzo in through the window.
Bed, Johnny? Just think, we get a bed tonight.
Easy, doctor. You're operating, remember? And I will have you sober this time.
Don't worry, I fix you up beautiful, yeah, Johnny?
Yes, you will. And if you don't, so
Jonathan, your room is ready. You can come up now.
Excellent, aunties. You two better best run along to bed. The doctor and I have to pull the car around back.
That's all right where it is until
No,
morning.
no. I'd hate to leave it on the street. That might be illegal.
Abby, what are we going to do?
Well, for one thing, we're not going to let them stay more than one night in this house. What would the neighbors think? People coming in here with one face and going out with another?
What are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, that's right.
to the general.
Then we mustn't tell him about it.
But it's his department.
No, Teddy, it would just spoil his visit.
Well, I'm sorry, Aunt Abby, but it's out of my hands. Army regulations, you know. He must be told.
No, Teddy, we must keep it a secret.
A state secret?
Yes, a state secret.
Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, how are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, Teddy, you go back down to the cellar, and when I turn out the lights when it's all dark, you come up and take the poor man down to Panama.
Then we'll come down later and hold services.
Now run along, Teddy.
You may announce that the President shall say a few words.
Oh, wonderful.
Where is the poor devil?
He's in the window seat.
Why, it seems to be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
Martha, when Jonathan and Dr. Einstein come in, let's see if we can get them to go to bed right away.
Yes. Then by the time they're asleep, we'll be dressed for the funeral services. Abby, I've never even seen Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, that's right, you were out. Will you come over here and see him now? He's really nice considering he's a Methodist.
Doctor and I are bringing the luggage in through here.
Hello, Jonathan, your room is all ready for you to go to bed.
Very good, aunties. I'm afraid we don't keep broken hours. You two should really run along to bed.
Oh, but you must be tired, both of you, from your trip. And we don't go to bed this early.
Well, you should. It's high time I came home to take care of both of you.
We weren't planning to go to bed until...
Go to bed! Doc, the instruments will go up to the operating room tomorrow. Well, now, it seems that we can all go to bed.
I'll wait until you're all up and then turn out the lights.
One more flight, Doctor. Martha, run along. Coming, Abby.
Yes, I'll be up in a minute.
Ready, Abby. Turn out the lights.
It's time for intermission.
run around back while I tap on the glass over the window.
Okay, Johnny, okay. Johnny, go. Okay, Johnny. Get out of here, Johnny. Oh, okay, wait, you lost the legs in there. I got it. Okay, I got it. Snake.
In his pants, pull him up. Be more careful.
His shoe came off.
And his pants.
Johnny, somebody's at the door. Go quick. I'm in a chair. Go quick.
Miss Abby? Miss Martha? Miss Abby? Miss Martha?
Who is it?
Hey, is that you? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Lynn Harper. I live next door.
What are you doing here?
I've come to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Doctor, the lights, please. I'm afraid you picked a rather inopportune time to make a social call.
I think you better explain what you're doing here.
I live here.
You don't live here. I'm in this house almost every day, and I've never seen you before. Where's Miss Abby and Miss Martha?
Allow me to make introductions. This is my good friend, Dr. Einstein.
Dr. Einstein?
Yes, a brilliant surgeon and something of a magician.
I suppose you're going to tell me that your girl is Carla.
I'm Jonathan Brewster.
Oh, you're Jonathan.
Oh. You heard of me.
Yes, just this afternoon for the first time.
Really? What was said?
Nothing, just that there's another brother named Jonathan. Well, that explains everything. Now I know who you are. I'll just...
What do you mean that explains everything? And what were you doing making a social call this late at night?
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house.
Oh, you saw a prowler.
Yes. Wasn't that you outside? Isn't that your car?
Oh, you saw someone buy a car.
Yes.
What else did you see?
Just that. Just someone walking
Come
around the
now,
house.
what else did you
That's
see?
all.
What was the man doing by his car?
I don't know. I was just on the way.
You're lying!
Johnny, I think she's telling the truth.
She's lying, Doctor! Breaking into houses late at night? She's a sneak thief! Shouldn't be allowed to run free!
No! You tried to
Doctor!
me!
It's going to be a private funeral!
Teddy! Teddy, tell us if you want to up.
Oi, that's my daughter, Alice!
Teddy!
Hard!
No! Teddy! No! Teddy!
Doctor, hit the cellar door.
What's the matter? What's going on down there? What's the matter? What are you doing? What's all that noise?
Nothing, aunties. We just caught a burglar. Go back to bed.
Oh, well, we'll call the police.
No. We've called them already. We'll handle this. Just run along now. Do you hear?
To the Nora-based theater. I should have known better. Whoa! I'm still there.
Mortimer, this is your brother Jonathan and his friend Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come home.
Who did you say this was?
It's your brother Jonathan.
He's had his face changed here.
Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan, you always were a horror. Do you have to look like one?
You're forgetting your childhood, Mortimer. Remember being strapped to those bedposts? Those tediously long needles being stuck ever so lovingly underneath your fingernails.
Yes. Jonathan, I remember you.
I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew!
Now, you two boys, don't start quarreling the moment you've seen each other.
Oh, don't worry, there won't be any fight, Aunt Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out!
I'm afraid, Mortimer, we've been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Well, we did promise to let them stay overnight.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
But we did give our word, and it would be terrible to go back on it.
All right, tonight, the first thing in the morning, out! Where are they sleeping?
Oh, we put them in Jonathan's old room.
That's my room. I'm sleeping in there, and I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Johnny, we sleep down here tonight, yeah?
Yeah, you bet your life you sleep down here.
Yeah, you sleep on the sofa. I'll sleep on the window seat, yeah?
Well, let's not argue about it. The window seat's good enough for me for tonight. I'll sleep on the window seat.
Johnny, all this argument, it makes me think of Mr. Spinazzo.
Mortimer, would hate to really inconvenience you this way. The doctor and I would love to spend the night down with you.
Jonathan, your consideration for me is very unconvincing.
Johnny, we get our things out of the room, yeah?
Don't bother, Doctor.
And doctor, through all this confusion, I completely lost track of Mr. Spinalzo.
Who's this Mr. Spinalzo?
It's just a friend Johnny's been looking for, yeah?
Well, don't bring anyone else in here.
Johnny, Bobby Pack, I tell you all about it, yeah?
Well, Mortimer, you don't have to stay down here. You can take my room
Now,
and go
aunties,
with Martha.
no one's going to be inconvenienced. The doctor and I will simply move our baggage, and Mortimer can have his pets.
I told you, you're wasting your time. I'm sleeping down here.
Mortimer?
What's wrong with you?
I've almost been killed.
You've almost been... Abby! Martha!
He mistook for a sneak thief.
No, it's much more than that. But Mortimer, he's some kind of maniac. I'm afraid.
My dear, you're trembling. Do you have any smelling salts?
No, but do you think some hot tea or coffee?
Yes, coffee. And make some for me, too. And some sandwiches. I haven't had any dinner yet.
We'll make something for both of you.
Martha, we can put our hats down here.
You weren't going out somewhere, were you? You know what time it is, don't you? Why, it's after 12. 12? Oh, Elaine, you've got to go home.
Well, you wanted us to make sandwiches for both of you. It won't be a minute.
Why don't you remember? You wanted to celebrate your engagement. That's what we'll do, dear. We'll make a nice supper for both of you, and I'll open a bottle of wine.
Oh, all right. There's no wine.
Mortimer, what is going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
First, you're supposed to take me to dinner in the theater, and you called off. Then you asked me to marry you, and I said I would. And 5 minutes later, you're chasing me out of the house. Now your brother tries to strangle me, and you want to make me go home. Now, Mr. Brewster, before I go home, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
Yes, Elaine, of course I love you. In fact, I love you so much that I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
No, I don't think so. But, you see, it's only a matter of time. Insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops.
Now, you've got to do better than that.
No, there's a strange taste in the Brewster blood. You see, if you really knew my family, it's what you'd expect if Strindberg hit her in Hell's Apollo.
Now, just because Teddy's a
Oh, no, it goes way back. The first Brewster, the one who came over on the Mayflower. See, in those days, the Indians used to scout the settlers. Well, he used to scout the Indians.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, it's the whole family. Take my grandfather, for instance. He used to try out his patent medicines on dead people to make sure it wouldn't kill them.
He wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. You just said he tried to kill you. He's a maniac.
But Mortimer, that's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Teddy. Well, you know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, Elaine, no Brewster should ever marry. In fact, I realize now that if I'd met my father in time, I would have stopped him.
All this doesn't prove that you're crazy. Look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, and the sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Yes, well, even they have their peculiarities.
Yes, but what lovely peculiarities.
know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it down to the fact I'm a mad person.
If you think you're going to get out of this by acting like you're insane, you're crazy! You might not be marrying me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, you dope.
Well, if you love me, would you leave?
Mortimer, will you walk me home? I'm afraid.
Afraid of a little walk through the cemetery?
Mortimer, will you kiss me goodnight?
Of course, dear. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. And Abby, and Martha, come in here.
We'll be in a minute.
Come in here now.
Well, yes, dear. What's the matter? Where's Elaine?
I thought you promised not to let anyone in this house while I was gone.
Well, Jonathan just came
I'm
in.
not talking about Jonathan.
Oh, and Dr. Einstein was with him.
I'm not talking about Dr. Einstein. Who's that in the window seat?
Well, that's Mr. Hoskins.
It's not Mr. Hoskins.
Well, who can that be?
Are you trying to tell me that you've never seen this man before?
Why, I certainly am. Well, that's a fine how do you do. It's getting so anybody thinks they can walk into this house.
My dear Aunt Abby, don't try to get out of this. That's one of your gentlemen.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? That man is an imposter. He thinks he's going to be buried in our cellar. He's mistaken.
My dear Aunt Abby, you admitted to me that you put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man didn't get the idea from him. Where's Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, he must have gone to Panama.
You buried him?
Oh, no, he's just waiting for services. We haven't had any minute with Jonathan in the house to do so. Oh, dear. We've always wanted to hold a double funeral. But I will not read services over a total stranger.
A stranger? How can I believe you? There are 12 men in the cellar, and you admit that you poisoned them.
Yes, I did. But you don't think that I was stooped to telling a fib?
A word, Mortimer. A word's about all you'll have time for, Jonathan. Because I've decided that you and your doctor friend have to get out of this house just as quickly as possible.
Good. I'm glad to see that you agree with me when I believe that neither one of us can coexist under the same roof. But you've come to the wrong conclusion, brother. I'm staying. Get out.
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You've played your one-night stand in Brooklyn. Move on.
Just because you graduated from the back fence to the typewriter doesn't make you a big boy, Mortimer. I'm staying. You're leaving. Now
Get out! If you think I can be frightened, if you think that there's anything that I fear,
I have lived a very strange life, Mortimer. The one thing it's taught me, I'm not afraid of anything.
Martha, come and look what's in the window seat.
now answer Jonathan, why don't you let Martha see what's in the window seat? And Abby, I owe you an apology. I have good news for you. Jonathan and Dr. Einstein are just leaving, and they're taking their cold companion with them. Jonathan, you're a Brewster. You're my brother. I'm going to give you a chance to get away and take the evidence with you. You can't ask for more than that. Very well. I'll call the police.
Don't touch that telephone! Have you forgotten Mr. Spinalzo? What happened to Mr. Spinalzo can easily happen.
Spinazzo?
I knew he was a foreigner. Oh, hello.
Hello, Miss Abby.
Well, what can we do for you, Officer O'Hara?
Well, I saw the lights on, thought there might be sickness in the house. But you've got company. I'll just be running.
No, come in, come in.
Oh, yes, come in.
Come right in, Officer
to make your acquaintance. Oh, it must be nice having your nephews visiting. You gonna be staying for a bit?
Oh, I'm staying. My brother Jonathan is just leaving.
Oh. Well, I've seen you here before, haven't I?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Jonathan hasn't been home for many years.
Well, I must have seen a picture of you around here someplace.
No, officer, I don't really think so.
Yes, I'd hurry if I were you. Your things are all packed anyways, aren't they?
Well, you'll be wanting to say your goodbyes, so I'll just be right
Oh,
on.
what's the rush? I'd like to have you stick around till my brother goes.
Well, I was just stopping in to make sure everything was all right.
Oh, we're gonna have a cup of coffee in a minute. Why don't you join us?
Oh, I forgot the coffee.
And I'll make some more sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by now, Officer O'Hara.
Well, don't worry about it, ma'am. I really must be ringing in.
Ah, what's the hurry? You can have a cup of coffee. My brother will be gone in a minute. Here, have a seat.
Say, ain't I seen a picture of your brother around here someplace?
Oh, I don't think so.
Weird. His face looks really familiar.
Probably looks like someone you've seen in the movies.
Nah, I never go to the movies. I hate them. My mother always said they were a bastard art.
Yeah, it's full of them. Your mother said that?
Yeah, well, she was a stage actress. Maybe you've heard of her. Her name was Peaches Latour.
Sounds like a name I've seen on a program. What'd she play?
Well, her big hit was Mutt and Jeff. She played in it for 3 years, and I was born on tour during the 3rd season.
You were?
Yep. Sioux City, Iowa. In the dressing room towards the end of the 3rd act. And Mother made the finale.
What a trooper. There must be some story in your mother. You know, I write about theater.
You do? Say, you're not Mortimer Purser, the dramatic critic.
Yes.
Well, sir, it's certainly a pleasure to have met you. You and I are in the same line of business.
Oh, we are?
Yep, I'm a playwright. Oh, this being on the force, this is just temporary.
Oh. Well, how long you been on the force?
12 years? I'm gathering material for a play I'm writing.
Oh, I'll bet it's a honey.
Well, it ought to be with the things I've seen being on the force. Mr. Brewster, you have no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
Oh, I think I do. I think I do.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1.
Gee, I gotta be ringing in.
Say, Officer O'Hara, on that play of yours, I might be able to help you.
You will?
Well, sure.
Say, it was fate my walking in here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot.
Oh, you're leaving, eh? Good. You haven't got much time, you know.
Oh, well, everything's almost ready. Oh, are you leaving, Jonathan? Well, goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Oh, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, Jonathan. You can't leave without all of your things. Well, Officer O'Hara, it was nice meeting you. We'll get together and talk later.
Well, I'm not leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
Why not?
You just offered to help me with my play, didn't you? No, sir, you and I are going to write this thing together.
But I can't do that. I'm not a creative writer.
Well, I'll do the creating and you just put the words to it. No, sir, I ain't leaving here until I've told you the plot.
Well, Mortimer, it seems like you have your hands full. We'll be off and say goodbye.
Don't you try to leave. You can't leave without any... Look, my brother's just calling you. We can talk about your play any old time, but just get together.
I can't wait. I've been waiting for 12 years.
I'm sorry I was so long.
Don't bring that in here. Officer O'Hara, would you join us in the kitchen for a bite?
The kitchen. Jonathan was just leaving.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Come along, Officer O'Hara. Are you sure you don't mind eating in the kitchen, Officer O'Hara?
And where else would we eat?
Goodbye, Jonathan. It was good to see you again.
Yes, Jonathan. I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn, because it gives me a chance to throw you out. And the first one out is your boyfriend here, Mr. Spinoza.
Look, Mr. Brewster, I don't mind talking in here.
Coming right out.
I might have known you'd write a play about a cop.
Oh, get going. All 3 of you.
This madness between me and my brother has got to end, Doctor.
Tell me if you got trouble enough, yeah?
It's been going on for years.
But your brother gives us a chance to get away. What more could you ask for, huh?
No. No, Doctor. We are staying.
With the cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinoza in the window seat?
That's all he's got. All we have to do is take Spinalzo, dump him in the bay, and we come back here, and if Mortimer interferes, so help me, Doctor, I have made up my mind.
No, when you make up your mind, you lose your head.
Doctor!
Hey, we stick together, yeah? Otherwise we get stuck together. Huh?
What?
If we're coming back here, we gotta take these with us, huh?
No. Hide them in the cellar. Make quick work of it, I'll get Mr. Spinalzo.
Down in the cellar.
What?
Did you know that hole in the cellar?
Yes?
We got an ace in the hole. Come
What?
on, come on, show me.
Jonathan? Jonathan? Jonathan!
Hello, Mortimer.
Where have you two been? I thought I told you to get out.
I'm afraid we're not going anywhere.
Oh, you're not? But you don't think I'm serious? Do you want Officer O'Hara to see what's in the window seat?
If you tell Officer O'Hara what's in the window seat, we'll just have to tell him what's in the cellar.
The cellar?
Yes, there's an elderly gentleman down there. He appears to be, oh, how do I put this gently? Dead.
What were you doing in the cellar?
What's he doing in the cellar, huh?
No thanks, ma'am. I've had quite enough.
Hello, officer. Yes, Mortimer, what were you going to tell Officer O'Hara?
Look, Mr. Brewster, your aunts want to hear the plot too, so I get them.
We'll get together alone somewhere later and talk about your play. You gotta bring it.
Forget ringing in. Look, I'll get you all in here and I'll tell you the plot.
Not in front of all these people. We'll get along together alone. Oh, yeah, alone, somewhere later.
All right, well, how about the back room at Kelly's?
Fine, but I'll meet you there. You just go.
Oh, I have an idea. How about you two use the cellar?
Oh, hey, there's an idea. Is this the cellar?
No! We're going to Kelly's, but you're gonna ring in on the way.
All right, that'll only take a minute.
I'll ditch this guy and be back in 5 minutes. I'll expect you to be gone. Wait for me.
Oh, yes. I'll wait for you, Mortimer. I've been waiting for this opportunity for years.
Yeah, Tony, we got him right where we found him, huh, Tony? Did he look guilty?
Take our bags upstairs, would you?
Oh, have they gone? Oh! Well, we thought we heard someone leave.
It was just Mortimer. He said he'd be back in a little while. Is there any food left? The doctor and I would really like a bite.
Well, I'm afraid you wouldn't have time.
No, if you're still here when Mortimer comes back, he won't like it.
Oh, he'll like it. He's gotta like it.
Yes, run along and prepare some food for us, would you? The doctor and I have to bury Mr. Spinalzo.
Not in our cellar.
No, Jonathan, you can't bury Mr. Spinalzo down there. You have to take him with you.
But Mortimer has one of his friends waiting for him downstairs.
A friend of Mortimer's?
Yes, he and Mr. Spinalzo have quite a lot in common. They're both dead.
They must be Mr. Hoskins.
Oh.
Mr. Hoskins?
You two know what's going on downstairs.
Oh, yes. And he's not one of Mortimer's gentlemen friends. He's one of our gentlemen.
You're a gentleman?
Yes, and we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
But Mr. Hoskins is...
Mr. Hoskins is not a stranger.
And besides, there's no room down there. It's crowded already.
Crowded? Why?
There are 12 graves down there now.
12?
Yes, and that leaves very little room and we're going to need it. So you can just take your Mr. Spinalzo out.
You two have murdered all...
Murder? Certainly not. It's one of our charities. It's a mercy.
So you two have been mercying all those people in this house and burying all your charity in the basement.
Johnny!
Yes?
We've been chased all over the world. And they stay right here in Brooklyn and do just as good as you do.
What?
You got 12 and they got 12.
No. I have 15.
No, Johnny, 12. Huh?
13! Spinalzo, London. in San Francisco, Phoenix,
Phoenix?
the filling station.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. 3 in Chicago, and then 1 in South Bend.
But you can't count the one in South Bend, Johnny. He died of pneumonia.
Because I shot him!
No, Johnny, he died of pneumonia. He don't count.
Well, he counts to me. And I say 13.
No, Johnny, you got 12, and they got 12. So all ladies are just as good as you are.
Well, that's easily remedied, isn't it? All I need is 1 more. That's all! Just 1 more!
Here I am.
You stop doing that!
This is our house and this is our son, and you can't do this!
Ladies, please go back upstairs where you belong.
Happy Martha, go upstairs!
There's no use for doing what you're doing because it will just have to be undone.
I'm warning you, we won't have it! You better stop it right now!
You'll find out. You'll find out whose house this is.
I'm warning you, you better stop it! Oh, where's Mortimer?
It's not back yet.
Oh, it's a terrible thing they're doing, putting in a good Methodist in with a foreigner.
I will not have our cellar desecrated.
We promised Mr. Hoskins a full Methodist funeral. Where do you suppose Mortimer went?
Well, I don't know, but he must be doing something because I heard him say to Jonathan, "You just wait, I'll settle this."
Well, how can he settle it when he's not in the house? That's all we want settled is what's going on down there.
All right, where's Teddy?
Oh, Mortimer, where have you been?
I've been over to Dr. Gilchrist. I got his signature on Teddy's commitment papers.
Mortimer, what is the matter with you?
Running around getting signatures at a time like this?
Do you know what Jonathan is doing?
He's putting in Mr. Spinozza and Mr. Hoskins in together.
Oh, he is he? Well, let him. Is Teddy in his room?
Teddy won't be any help.
When Teddy signs these papers, then I can tackle Jonathan.
What do these papers have to do with this?
You had to go and tell Jonathan about your 12 gentlemen. Well, if I can make Teddy responsible for them, then I can protect you. Don't you see?
No, I don't. And we pay taxes to have the police protect us.
I'll be back down in a minute.
But Martha, we're going for the police.
You can't go for the police.
Why not?
Well, if you tell the police about Mr. Spinalzo, then they'd find Mr. Hoskins too. And then they might get curious. And then they'd find your other 12 gentlemen.
Now, Mortimer, we know the police a lot better than you do. I don't think they would pry into our personal affairs if we asked them not to.
But if they find your 12 gentlemen, they'd have to report to headquarters.
I'm not so sure they'd bother. They'd have to fill out a very long report. And if there's one thing a policeman hates to do, it's to write.
You can't depend on that. It might leak out. And you can't expect a judge and jury to understand.
Judge Coleman would.
Oh, yes, we know him very well.
He always comes to church to pray just before election.
Oh, and he's coming over for tea sometime, he promised.
Oh, Abby, we must speak to him again about that soon. His poor wife died a few years back and it's left him so very lonely.
Well, let's go, Martha.
You can't do this. You can't leave this house. I won't let you. And you can't have Judge Coleman to tea.
Well, if you're not going to do anything about Mr. Spinozza, we are.
Yes.
I am going to do something, and we might have to call the police in later. But I want to be ready for them.
You've got to get Jonathan out of this house.
And Mr. Spinozza, too.
Would you let me do this my own way? I've got to see Teddy.
Well, Mortimer, if they're not out of this house by morning, we are calling the police.
They'll be out, I promise you. Now, would you go to bed? And for heaven's sakes, get out of those clothes. You look like Judith Anderson.
Well, that's a relief, isn't it?
Oh, yes. If Mortimer's really going to do something about it, then Jonathan's going
here then?
Yes, he's upstairs talking to Teddy.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Hey, you better say goodbye to Mortimer, too.
Oh, you'll say Mortimer.
Yes, I'll see Mortimer.
Is that all fixed up, Johnny? Smooth like a lake. You never know we were down there, yeah? Oh, that bed feels good already. Oh, let's go up, Johnny.
You're forgetting something, Doctor.
What?
My brother, Mortimer.
Tonight? Oh, we do that tomorrow, or is it next day?
No, tonight. Now.
Johnny, not tonight. I'm tired.
Doctor, we handle Mortimer tonight.
Let's go to bed, yeah?
Doctor, look at my face. This is going to happen.
Yeah, Johnny, I can see that. I know that look.
A little late to be dissolving our partnership now, don't you think?
Okay, Johnny, but he's doing this a quick way, huh? It's a quick twist.
No. This calls for something special.
I'm thinking.
Melbourne.
Johnny, 2 hours? Oh, Johnny. And then it was over what? As a fellow in London was just as dead as a fellow in Melbourne, no?
We had to work so fast in London. There was no aesthetic value. No, but Melbourne, now, there was something to remember.
Remember? Johnny, I wish I didn't know. Johnny, not me, not Melbourne.
Doctor, where are your instruments?
No, Johnny, I won't do it. I won't do it.
Your instruments!
No, Johnny.
Put them downstairs. Where?
I won't tell you.
I'll get them for you.
Go find them.
But don't do that, Mr. President.
But I cannot sign any proclamation without first consulting my cabinet.
But this must be a secret.
A secret proclamation? How unusual.
Japan mustn't know until it's signed.
Japan. Those yellow devils. I shall sign it at once. You have my word for it. I can let my cabinet know later.
Yes, let's go and sign it.
No, you stay here. A secret proclamation must be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr. President.
I'll have to put on my signing clothes.
I guess you go now, yeah?
Oh, no, Doctor, I'm waiting for something. Something important.
Oh, please go now.
Look, Doctor, I have nothing against you personally. You seem to be a nice fellow. Take my advice. Get out of this house and as far away as possible.
Oh, yeah, you get out.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm warning you, get away quick.
Things are going to start popping around here any minute.
Listen. Johnny's in a terrible mood, yeah? When he's like this, things happen. Nasty things, yeah?
Well, I'm not afraid of him anymore.
Don't those plays you see teach you anything, huh?
About what?
Well, these people in those plays you watch act like they got sense. That's more than you do.
Oh, you think so, huh? You think people in plays act intelligently? Boy, I wish you had to sit through some of the ones I've had to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for example. In this play, there's a man, and he's supposed to be bright. He knows he's in a house with murderers. He ought to know he's in danger. He's even been warned to get out of the house. But does he go? No, he stays. Now, Doctor, does that sound like something an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me?
He didn't even have sense enough to be frightened, to be on guard. In fact, the murderer even asked him to sit down.
Won't you sit down?
Oh, believe it or not, Doctor, that was in there too.
What did he do?
Oh, he sat down. Now, fine. This fellow, he's supposed to be bright. But there he sits just waiting to be trussed up. And what do you suppose they tie him with? The curtain cord.
Why not? It's convenient, a good idea.
Oh, yeah, a little too convenient. When are the playwrights going to use a little imagination? I mean, really, the curtain cord?
He didn't see him get it?
See him? He sat there with his back to him the whole time. Now, this is the kind of stuff I have to sit through night after night. And they say the critics are killing the theater. It's the playwrights that are killing the theater. So, there he is, this fellow. He's supposed to be bright, just waiting to be trussed up again.
Allow us to finish the story for you, Mona.
You were right about that fellow. He wasn't very bright.
I have been away from home 20 years.
20!
And in all that time, I've never lost thought of you once, Mortimer. Why, in Melbourne, I even dreamed about you. Then to land in San Francisco and to be in the same country with you all over again. Okie dokie. Got that?
Tony, for me, is a quick way.
No, Doctor! This must be an artistic success. We have Brooklyn's greatest critic at our disposal.
Tony!
Doctor?
Oh, okay, let's get it over.
Just waiting for you, Doctor.
Johnny, I gotta have a drink first. I can't operate without a drink, you know that.
Pull yourself together.
It's gone. Johnny, I just gotta have a drink when we walked in here. There was wine here. Remember where did she manage to put that?
Right, thank you.
I split it with you. That's all there is.
The doctor. Hurry a minute. Mortimer! You're the reason I'm home in Brooklyn again. Doctor, to my nearly dead brother.
You're next! He's next!
No, Johnny, that's first up. We don't get him at all, no?
I have to do this the fast way.
Yes, it could be.
Yes, the quick way.
Hey, the colonel's gonna quit blowing that horn!
No worries, officer. We'll take the bugle away from him.
There's going to be hell to pay in the morning. We told the neighbors he wouldn't do that anymore.
Well, rest assured, officer, it won't happen again.
Well, I better talk to him myself. Hey, you stood me up. I waited an hour at Kelly's for you. What happened to him?
He was explaining a play he saw tonight. That's what happens to the fellow in the play.
Really? They have that in the play you saw tonight? They practically stole that from the second act of my play. Well, in the second act of my play, this fellow... Oh, right. No? I have to tell you the plot. Alright. It opens in the dressing room where I was born. Only I ain't born yet. And my mother's sitting there getting all gussied up when a man with a black mustache walks in and he looks at my mother and says, "Miss Latour, will you marry me?" Only he doesn't know she's pregnant. So there she is, lying there in her lingerie. And the chief, he's standing over with a hatchet. The place is on fire, it's an inferno of flames. When in through the window walks Mayor LaGuardia. Oh, hey, go easy on that. Remember who paid for it.
Well, I'm listening, ain't I?
Well, what do you think so far?
You put Johnny to sleep.
All the better. If you ain't got any more interest in that, you don't get a drink. All right, now it's 3 weeks later, and I'm on suspension because somebody stole my bat. So there I am, walking my beat, when it turns out this guy I'm following is really following me. Then don't let anybody in. So I says to myself, I'll outsmart him. And I go into the house on the corner. Cops! I stand there in the dark and I see the door handle start to turn.
Oh, mommy, I don't want to go to school.
So I pulls my gun, breaks against the wall, and I says, come in!
What's going on in here?
Hey fellas, what do you know? This is Mortimer Brewster. He's helping me with my play.
Did you have to tie him up to make him listen?
Joe, you better report in the station. The whole force is out looking for you.
Well, did they send you here looking for me?
We didn't know he was here.
We came to warn the old ladies there's hell to pay. The colonel blew that bugle again in the middle of the night.
From the way the neighbors have been calling in about it, you think the Germans dropped a bomb on Flatbush Avenue.
The lieutenant's on the warpath. She says he's got to be locked up someplace.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I gotta get getting back. So I'll run through the third act real quick.
You get away from me!
Say, do you know what time it is? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is? Well, the first two acts run kind of long, but I don't see anything we can leave out.
You can leave it all out!
Hey, who's that guy?
That's my brother.
Oh, the one that ran away so he came back?
Yeah, he came back.
Mac, this is Brokey. Joe, better let him know we found you. Mac, tell the lieutenant she can call off the big manhunt. We found him, here in the Brewster house. Did you want us to bring him in? All right, we'll keep him here. The lieutenant's on their way over.
Oh. Been turned in, eh? Fine, lady, bye. I suppose you'll be splitting the reward with my stool pigeon brother.
Ward?
Well, I have my own turning in to do. You know my little ants? The ones you think are so sweet and innocent? They have 13 bodies buried in the cellar. Teddy? Teddy?
What are you talking about?
You better watch what you say about your aunties. They are friends of ours.
There's 13 bodies in the cellar. I'll point them out to you. Follow me.
Wait a minute.
Hello, bodies, cellar. Come with me.
Abe, go on down to the cellar with him.
Yes, why don't you want to see what's in the cellar?
Not so sure I want to be down in the cellar with him. Look at that puss. He looks like Boris Karloff.
Hey, get off of it!
Come on, me.
Get off of it!
We
Come in.
What are you two doing here? I told you I was going to handle this.
Well, sir, he was just about
What happened? Did he put up a fight?
This ain't the guy that blows the bugle. It's his brother. He tried to kill Klein.
All I said was he looked like Boris Karloff.
Turn him over.
We kind of think he's wanted somewhere.
You kind of think he's wanted somewhere? If you two don't read the circulars we hang up at the station, at least you could do is read True Detective. Of course he's wanted somewhere. In Indiana, escaped from the prison of the criminal insane. He's a lifer. That's how he was described, as he looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yes, and I'm claiming it.
He was trying to get us down in the cellar.
Said there was 13 bodies buried down there.
13 bodies? And that didn't tip you off that he was from the nut house?
I thought all along you talked kind of crazy.
Ah, and who do we have here? It's Shakespeare. And where have you been all night? And you needn't bother tell me.
Well, I've been here writing my play with Mortimer Brewster.
Oh, yeah? Well, you're going to have plenty of time to write that play. You're suspended. Now get back and report in.
Well, can I come by the station sometime and use the typewriter?
No! Get out of here! Take this guy someplace else and bring him to. See what you can find out about his accomplice. The guy that helped him escape? He's wanted too! No wonder why Brooklyn's in the shape it is, with flatheads on the force like you two, falling for any kind of story. 13 bodies in the cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I'm
Who is this? He's the guy that blows the bugle.
Morning, Colonel.
Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle.
Dear me. Another yellow fever victim?
Get this guy out of here. A yellow fever victim.
If there's any questioning of spies, that's my department.
Oh, the garden pup, you know.
You stay out of it.
You're mistaken. As president, I am also head of the Secret Service.
Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
Are you sure?
I'd like to talk to you about my brother Teddy, the one who blew the bugle.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about that. He's gonna be put away.
Oh, I agree with you. In fact, it's all been arranged for. I have these commitment papers signed by Dr. Gilchrist, our family physician. Teddy signed them, and I signed them as next of kin.
Where is he going?
Happydale?
Well, I don't care where he goes as long as he's going.
Oh, he's going all right. And everything that's happened around here, Teddy's responsible for. Those 13 bodies in the cellar?
Yeah. 13 bodies in the cellar. It ain't enough that the neighbors are all scared of him and he's blowing that bugle, but now he's starting some cockeyed story about 13 bodies in the cellar. And a yellow fever scare. Cute, ain't it?
13 bodies? You think anybody'd actually believe that story?
Well, you just don't know. Some people are dumb enough. They just don't know what to believe sometimes. Last year, a crazy guy over in Greenpoint starts a murder rumor, and I had to dig up a half-acre lot just to prove that.
Will you excuse me for a minute?
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Elaine.
This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to see Teddy.
To see Teddy?
Mr. Witherspoon's the new superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, come right in, yes. This is Captain...
Lieutenant Rooney, glad to meet you, Super. He's going along with you today.
Today? Why, I didn't know that.
No, not today.
Look, Elaine, I have a lot of business to attend to here, so if you could just go home.
Nuts.
I had no idea it was this immediate.
The papers are all signed. He's going along with you today.
Complete insubordination. You men will find that I am no mollycoddle. When the President of the United States is treated like this, what's this country coming to?
There's your man, Super.
Yeah, just a minute. Mr. President, I have good news for you. Your term of office is over.
Really? Is this March the 4th already?
Practically.
Oh. Oh! Well, that must mean I go on my hunting trip to Africa. I shall go and get my equipment at once. Is he trying to move into the White House before I've moved out?
Who, Teddy?
Taft!
No, this isn't Mr. Taft. This is Mr. Witherspoon. He used to be your guide in Africa.
Ah, splendid. That's bully, just bully. I shall go and prepare at once. If the safari comes, tell them to wait. Goodbye, Aunt Tabby. Goodbye, Aunt Martha. I am off to Africa. Isn't it wonderful? March!
Good morning, darlings.
We have visitors.
Oh, yes, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
How do you do, Lieutenant? My, you don't look like the fuzz budget the police officers say you are.
Why, the lieutenant is here. Teddy blew his bugle again last night.
Oh, yes, we're going to speak to him about that right away.
I'm sorry, Miss Brewster. It's much more serious than that.
And you haven't met Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Mr. Witherspoon, how do you do?
Well, you've come to meet Teddy.
He's come to take him.
Yes, and the police want Teddy to go there today.
Oh, no! Not while we're alive.
I'm sorry, Miss Brewster, but the papers are all signed. He's going along with the superintendent.
Oh, well, we won't permit it. We will not be separated from Teddy.
No.
We promise to take the bugle away.
Yes.
I'm sorry, ladies, but the law's the law. He's committed himself, and he's going.
Well, if he's going, then so are we.
Yes, you'll just have to take us with him.
Well, why not?
It's sweet of them to want to, but it's impossible. We can't take sane people at Happydale.
Mr. Witherspoon,
suppose we could use the money, but I'm afraid.
Now, ladies, let's be reasonable about this. For instance, here I am, wasting my busy morning when I've got serious work to do. You know, there are still murders to be solved in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh, are there?
It ain't only his bugle blowing, and the neighbors are all afraid of him, but it could just get much worse. And sooner or later, we'd be put up to the trouble of digging up your cellar.
Our cellar?
Yes, your nephew keeps telling that there's 13 bodies buried in your cellar.
Well, there are 13 bodies in our cellar.
If that's why you think Teddy has to go to Happydale, come along down to the cellar with us and we'll show you.
There's one, a Mr. Spinazzo, who doesn't belong and will have to go, but the rest of them are our gentlemen.
I don't think the lieutenant wants to go see what's in the cellar. You see, she was just telling me that not even a year ago she had to dig up half an acre lot just to... weren't you, Lieutenant?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, well, you won't have to dig here. All the graves are marked. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers? Are you sure you can't find room for these ladies?
Well, if you'll just come down, we'll show you the graves.
I'll take your word for it. I'm a busy lady.
They would have to be committed.
Well, Teddy committed himself. Can't they commit themselves? Can't they sign the papers?
Why, certainly.
Well, if we can sign the papers, we'll do it right away. Where are they?
Yes, where are they?
If you'll sign right here.
It's coming round, Lieutenant.
Oh, good morning, Officer Klein.
Well, hello, Officer Klein. Are you here too?
Yeah, me and Brophy have got your other nephew out in the kitchen.
Let's get this all cleared up, Superintendent. I want this signed today. 13 bodies.
I'm so looking forward to going to Happydale.
Oh, yes, the neighborhood has changed so.
Yes. And to think a front lawn again.
Oh, we're overlooking something. We're going to need the signature of a doctor.
Oh, Dr. Einstein. Would you come over here for a moment? We have some papers we'd like you to sign.
I think I must go.
Oh, no, come. Come right in. For a moment there last night, I thought the doctor was going to operate on me. Just sign right here, doctor. Right here. Yes.
Were you leaving, Doctor?
Yes, I think I must go.
Oh, aren't you going to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Oh, hello, Elaine. It's nice to see you here. Stick around, will you?
Don't worry, I'm going to. Hey, Matt Rooney here. We got the guy that's wanted in Indiana. Now, on my desk, there's a description of his accomplice. Read it to me. Okay. About 45, 5'6", 140 pounds, speaks with a German accent, poses as a doctor. Thanks, Mac.
It's all right, Lieutenant. The doctor here has completed the signatures.
Thanks, Doc. You're really doing Brooklyn a service.
Now, Mr. Brewster, if you'll sign here next to me.
Right here? Now, this completes everything?
It does.
Makes everything legal?
Yeah, yes.
Well, aunties, now you're safe.
When do you ladies just be ready to start?
Oh, well, Mr. Witherspoon, why don't you go upstairs and tell Teddy what he can bring along with him?
Upstairs?
Oh, yes, I'll show you.
Oh, no, Mortimer, we'd like to speak with you. Yes, Mr. Witherspoon, just up the stairs and to the left.
Well, Mortimer, now that we're leaving, this house really is yours.
Yes, we'd like you to live here.
Oh, no, thank you, aunties. This house is too full of memories.
But you'll need a place to stay when you and Elaine are married.
Oh, my dears, that's very indefinite.
Nothing of the kind. We're going to get married right away.
Mortimer, Mortimer, we're very worried about something.
Oh, you're going to love it at Happydale.
Oh, yes, we're very excited about the whole thing. Well, that's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong.
Will they investigate those signatures?
Oh, don't worry, they won't look up Dr. Einstein.
Oh, it's not his signature, dear. It's yours.
You say you signed us next of kin.
Well, of course, why not?
Well, dear, it's something we never wanted to tell you, but now you're a man, and it's something Elaine should know
good.
Well, unless Mortimer wants to live here.
Might I make a suggestion? Donate the house to the church.
Well, we never thought of that.
Yes, it should be part of the cemetery.
Goodbye, aunties. And one thing stands. Our score! It's 12 to 12.
Jonathan always was a mean boy. He never could stand to see anyone get ahead of him.
I wish there was something that we could do to prove to him that he isn't so smart. Mr. Witherspoon, does your family live with you in Happydale?
I have no family.
Oh. Well, I suppose you consider everyone in Happydale your family.
I don't think you quite understand. As head of the institution, I must keep quite aloof.
Oh, that must be very lonely for you.
It is, but my duty is my duty.
Well, Martha, I think if Mr. Witherspoon will not join us for breakfast, the least we can do is offer him a glass of our elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine? Why, yes. Of course, at Happydale, our relationship will be much more formal. But here, you don't see much elderberry wine nowadays. And I thought I'd had my last glass of it.
Oh, no.
No, here it is.
And begged you not to leave because I go berserk? Well, you left me anyhow, and then the days got worse and worse, and now you see I've gone completely out of my mind. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time, and I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats, and they're coming to take me away, ha-ha! You thought it was a joke, and so you laughed. You laughed when I had said that losing you would make me flip my lid. Right? You know you laughed. I heard you laugh. You laughed and laughed, and then you left. But now you know I'm utterly mad. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha.
Preparing it for you. And we especially want to thank our director, who's always behind the scenes but has done so much work to make this such a good play. Norma Jean, thank you. It's not coming. No, it's too far of a climb to come down from up there, but we did get her a nice gift, and we'd like to present that to her this time. Woo! Thank you all.
Skip beavers who sit and smile and twiddle their thumbs and